Hello students, my name is Niyati Said and thanks for watching Edupedia word videos. My topic for the presentation is the last section of the chapter Neural Control and Coordination. In this section of presentation, we'll be studying about the physiology of hearing. I have already taught you the structure of ear. So refer to that presentation for the better understanding of the physiology of hearing presentation. How does ear convert sound waves into neural impulses, which are sensed and processed by the brain that enable us to recognize a sound? Have you ever thought of? I have taught you that ear has three parts: external, middle and internal ear. So what happens is the external ear, it receives sound waves and direct them to the eardrum. And eardrum, as you can see, that this is the outer ear, this is the middle ear and this is the inner ear, right? So what happens in the mechanism of hearing? First of all, the external ear receives sound waves. See, these are the sound waves which is being received by the outer ear. Okay, so it receives sound waves and direct them to the eardrums. This is our eardrum, which is also known as tympanic membrane. Okay, so this ear canal, it directs sound waves to the eardrum. Then what happens is this eardrum, it vibrates in response to the sound waves, and these vibrations are then transmitted through earocycles, and which are three earocycles: Mellus, incus and stapes, okay, which are the three bones of ear. So these eardrum, it vibrate in response to the sound wave, and these vibrations are then transmitted to the earocycle, which are present in the middle ear. Okay, this is the middle ear, this is Mellus, this is incus and this is stapes. Okay, so then the vibrations are passed to the oval window. See, this is the oval window. Okay, the vibrations are passed through oval window onto the fluid of the cochlea. This is cochlea. Okay, this is cochlea. So the vibrations are then transmitted to the fluid of the cochlea. Okay, where they generate waves in the lymph. The waves in the lymph, they induce a ripple. Okay, they, as you can see, these are the ripples. Okay, it has formed a ripple kind of a structure. So lymph, you can say the waves in the lymph induce a ripple in the basilar membrane. This is basilar membrane, this blue one. Okay, this is the structure of cochlea, which is a component of inner ear. So cochlea, and this is your inner basilar membrane. Okay, these movements of the basilar membrane bend the hair cell. That means hair cells are there in the basilar membrane. Okay, as you can see, these are the, this is the zoom view of the your basilar membrane, and these are your hair cells. So what happens is these movements of the basilar membrane, it bend the hair cells and press them against the tectorial membrane. Okay, this is the tectorial membrane. Okay, this green color one, this is the tectorial membrane. So what happens is these movements of the basilar membrane, it bends the hair cell, these are the hair cells, and they press them against the tectorial membrane, which is this one. As a result, nerve impulses are generated, okay, in associated afferent neutrons. These impulses are then transmitted by the afferent fibers via auditory nerves to the auditory cortex of the brain, where the impulses are analyzed and sound is recognized, that what is being said. Okay, So this is the mechanism of hearing overview which I wanted to give you before going into detail. Let's see once again that the process of hearing begins with the occurrence of sound. What is sound? Sound is initiated when an event moves and causes a motion or vibration in air. They form rarefaction and condensation in the air molecules. Okay, that causes vibration in the air, and when this air movement it stimulates the ear, the sound is heard. In the human ear, the sound wave is transmitted through 4 separate mediums along the auditory system before a sound is perceived. And which are those 4 separate mediums? First, in the outer ear, in which air enters. Then it enters into the middle ear, where the mechanical motion takes place of the air. Then in the inner ear, because vibration it travels through the liquid, and to the brain, which is taken up by the neurons. Okay, so this is the physiology of hearing. Let's see here once again. This is the outer ear, which consists of pinna, ear canal. Okay, and eardrum is an interface between outer ear and the inner ear. Please note that. So the outer ear, what happens is pinna helps collect and channel sound into ear canal, which also enhances sound quality. These are the sound waves which is entering through the pinna. And then comes middle ear, which has eardrum in it. Eardrum is tympanic membrane, so don't get confused with it. Eardrum vibrate in response to sound waves, and it transmits the sound energy through the 3 small bones. And which are those 3 small bones? Malleus, incus and stapes. And then the vibration of the sound, they are transmitted to oval window. This is the oval window. And then from oval window it gets transmitted to the inner ear. Inner ear consists of cochlea. This is cochlea. Okay, from here to here. This is something spiral shaped structure, or you can say kind of snail like structure. Okay, so vibration from the oval window it passes to the fluid, and it creates a wave that travels up and around the cochlea back to the round window, which disperses the vibration back to the middle ear. Okay, just back to the middle ear. Now see, this is the zoom view of the cochlea, which consists of organ of Contd, basilar membrane. This yellow one is your basilar membrane. Okay, and these are the hair cells. Okay, and these are the nerve fibers through which sound is being transmitted, or the neural impulses are taken from the ear to the brain for the analyzing process. Okay, this is the endolymph. Okay, and this is the tectorial membrane, and this is the resinual membrane. In tectorial membrane, what's the role of the tectorial membrane? You can say that movement of air of the basilar membrane, it bend the hair cells, and thus it press them against the tectorial plate, which is this one. Okay, as a result, nerve impulse is generated, which is taken up by this nerve, auditory nerve. It is called as nerve fiber. As you can see, this is the nerve fiber. So it is transmitted by the afferent fiber via auditory nerve to the auditory cortex of the brain, where the impulse are analyzed and sound is recognized. Okay, and please note that the movement of endolymph, see, this is the endolymph, right, and movement of endolymph and tectorial membrane, it stimulates the sensory hair of the organ of Contd. These are the sensory hairs, and so this activates or stimulates the sensory hair of the organ of Contd. Okay, And what does organ of Contd do? The pressure wave, it deflects the vestibular membrane. Vestibular membrane is mainly for, you can say that it is mainly for the maintaining the pressure balance. Okay, and so the basilar membrane, it activates the hair cells of the organ of Contd and thus creates a nerve stimuli. Now, how sound transmission takes place in 4 steps that will be seen. First step is sound transmission through the outer ear. As I have told you that sound wave, they are transmitted to the outer ear, which we also call as pinna or auricle. Pinna and auricle, they both are same, so don't get confused with it. And see, as you can see that these are the sound wave which is being entered by through the auricle or through the outer ear, and then through the ear canal. This is ear canal. It is also known as external auditory canal. It is then directed to the eardrum. Okay, so air transmitted sound waves, they are directed towards the delicate hearing mechanism with the help of outer ear, first by pinna, which gently funnels sound wave into the ear canal, and then by the ear canal. That means first step is through outer ear, the sound waves, they are being directed to the eardrum. This is eardrum. Okay, eardrum is also known as tympanic membrane. So don't get confused with it. Then what happens is, second step come into being. First is sound transmission through the outer ear, and second is sound transmission to the middle ear. When air movement strikes the tympanic membrane, see, this is the tympanic membrane or the eardrum, they both are same. Okay, so when air movement, it strikes the tympanic membrane or the eardrum, it moves. See, it moves. At this point, the energy generated through a sound wave is transferred from a medium of air to that which is solid in the middle ear. And the ossicular chain, see, I have written here that ossicular chain. What do you mean by ossicular chain? The chain of 3 bones of ear. And which are those 3 bones? Malleus, incus and stapes. So the ossicular chain of the middle ear, it connects to the eardrum. See, this is eardrum, and this is malleus, this is incus, and this is stapes. This is stapes, which is connected to the oval window. Okay, so that any motion of the eardrum, it sets the 3 little bones, malleus, incus and stapes of the ossicular chain into motion. That means all these 3 bones come into motion as soon as middle ear connects to the eardrum. Okay, then third step comes into being, and which is that sound transmission through inner ear. Sound has been transmitted from outer to the middle ear. Now from middle ear to inner ear, it will move on. The ossicular chain transfers energy from a solid medium to the fluid medium of the inner ear via the stapes. As I have told you that this is the stapes, which is the smallest bone of the ear. It is connected with the oval window, and from here to here, this is the inner ear part. Okay, this is cochlea. Okay, and this is the internal ear part. So the step is attached to the oval window. This is the stapes and this is oval window. So stapes is attached to the oval window. Movement of the oval window, it creates motion in the cochlear fluid. See, this cochlea, this is cochlea. Okay, this is cochlea, and it is filled with the fluid, which we call it as endolymph. So the movement of the oval window, it creates motion in the cochlear fluid and along the basilar membrane. Motion along the basilar membrane excites frequency specific area of the organ of Contd. This is organ of Contd. So it excites organ of corti, which in turn stimulates a series of nerve endings. Okay, now fourth steps come into being. From the auditory nerve, its sound is being transmitted to the brain. So this is the fourth step, sound transmission to the brain. With the initiation of the nerve impulses, another change in medium occurs from fluid to neural. That means from internal ear fluid to neural impulses, which is relayed through 8th cranial nerve, which is auditory nerve, through various nuclei along the auditory pathway to areas of the brain. It is the brain that interprets neural impulses and create a thought picture. Okay, so these are the 4 steps how the sound is transmitted from outer ear to the middle ear to inner ear, and inner ear to the brain. Okay, see, this is how it happens. These are the sound wave which is being traveled from the eardrum, from the ear canal to the eardrum. This is eardrum. Okay, tympanic membrane. See, it has a stride, and this is the ossicular chains which gets which get set into motion. Okay, and then it enters to the lymph of the cochlea. This is the cochlea, which is the inner ear. Okay, so this is how a sound is being transmitted from outer ear to middle ear and to the inner ear. Now, how we hear? See, what happens is, first step, sound waves, they enter your outer ear. This is your outer ear. Okay, and it travels through the ear canal. This is ear canal, from here to here. This is ear canal to your eardrum. This is your eardrum. And then your eardrum vibrates with the incoming sound, and it sends the vibration to 3 tiny bones in your middle ear. This is malleus, this is incus, and this is stapes. These are the 3 ossicles of the ear, which sets into motion when eardrum vibrates with the incoming sound. And then third step is, the bones in your middle ear, they amplify the sound vibrations. I've already taught you that the ossicular chain, that is malleus, incus and stapes, they amplify the sound vibration and send them to your inner ear. This is your inner ear. And the sound vibration, they activate tiny hair cells in the inner ear, which in turn release neurochemical messengers. And then fourth step comes into being, where your auditory nerve, which is your 8th cranial nerve, it carries this electrical signal to the brain, and which translate it into a sound you can understand. Okay, so this is how the physiology of hearing is all about. See, these are the events that are involved in the hearing process. Okay, see, this is outer ear. Okay, from where the incoming sound waves reaches to the tympanic membrane. This is your tympanic membrane, this is your malleus, this is your incus, and this is your stapes. Okay, and this is your inner ear, that is your cochlea duct or the cochlea. Okay, so sound waves, they arrive at the tympanic membrane. See, it is being transmitted and it has reached tympanic membrane. Then the movement of the tympanic membrane causes displacement of the auditory ossicles, which are malleus, incus and stapes. So when the tympanic membrane moves, then it causes displacement of these 3 bones, malleus, incus and stapes, and then movement of the stapes. See, this is your stapes and this is your oval window. Movement of stapes at the oval window, it stabilizes a pressure wave in the perilymph or of the vestibular duct. See, this is the perilymph. Okay, the pressure wave, it distorts the basilar membrane on their way to the round window of the tympanic duct. See, this is a kind of round window, you can say. And then vibration of the basilar membrane, it causes vibration of hair cells against the tectorial membrane, which I have already taught you. And then information about the region and the intensity of stimulation is relayed to the CNS, that is central nervous system, over the cochlear branch of the 8th cranial nerve. So these are the events that are involved in the hearing, or you can say that this is the physiology or the mechanism of hearing. I hope it is clear to all of you. Now let's see once again in a summarizing manner. See, this is these sound waves, they are entering your outer ear, then the vibration of the eardrum takes place, and that vibration sets all 3 bones of the ear into the motion, and then vibration of the oval window takes place, and then movement of fluid cochlea, then vibration of basilar membrane, then it causes hair cells to bend, and then receptor hair cell, the voltage becomes positive because of the influx of the K+ ions, okay, and then that increases the action potential, which is generated in the 8th auditory nerve, which is 8th cranial nerve, and then this action potential is relayed to the brain and hearing occurs. So this is the event of hearing. I hope it is clear to all of you now. So this was all about the last section, that is physiology of hearing, and this comes to an end of the chapter neural control and coordination. So thank you, stay tuned and keep watching Edupedia word videos.